Hey guys, I'm back with another booster box update, so let's get started. So Paldea Evolved is recovering back to 297. I was starting to see signs of this the last 1 to 2 days when I noticed the price was creeping back up. You saw the low point of 277 and it would recover back to 288. But even without it just being a price rise, I could look at the recent listings, I could see the demand numbers, and I was like, it's doing pretty well because I've been seeing a pattern with a lot of boxes where the price would go down and you see an okay amount of demand and it wouldn't quite recover. Like I'm seeing now with like surging sparks, like some prismatic ETBs, stuff like that. But for Paldea, it was interesting because it already did drop. And the thing about Paldea is that like it's not getting like a lot of increased supply for as far as I can tell. Like it's a booster box, pretty old set. It doesn't really make sense to reprint it. And even with the reprints, like people only buy so much, but demand is a lot of days has been about 10 per day. Let's say like somewhere between 7 and 10. And yeah, I just saw like the number of boxes being on sale were dwindling. It's already had its like low point, and yeah, right now there's only one more box at 297. There's six of these at like 299, and then you're kind of back at 300 territory. And if we break 300, that could be like a new mental resistance point. But also, just as far as investing goes, I think people are starting to notice that investing in the newer stuff is getting harder and harder. It's getting less risky. I mean, it's getting more risky to invest in like Journey Together, Surging Sparks, Destined especially with all the price drops recently. And Paldea Evolved is just kind of the safe place to park your money if you want to park your money because people do get impatient. They just want to be, what do I put my money in? And Paldea Evolved is like the best set out of the first SV boxes. SV 1 to 4 is the one everyone it has attention toward. Second place is usually Obsidian Flames. It's also a box that I've noticed that the boxes that people want to open the most are actually Paldea and Obsidian Flames. Paldea has a Magic Carp, has a bunch of nice IRs, has a bunch of like 151 Pokemon, and Obsidian Flames has easy pull rates, has a bunch of 151 Pokemon, so just enjoyable things. And with more and more people getting the hobby nowadays, just to relive their childhood, those are the boxes that they usually want to go towards. So Paldea Evolved is up $8, and yeah, even though like there's comparable sets like Twilight or whatever, like Twilight is just a more riskier set to get into, just because like it's more like gear reprints, and also it like it's a good set, but I think the risk is a big part of it. Um, all right, and then what else? So I'll just go kind of in order, but you see compared to Paldea, the demand for other boxes is kind of more volatile or lower. So like SV base has had pretty stable sales lately, literally like only 1 to 3 per day, ever since even after the TCG player sale, only 1 3 boxes a day, except for like the 19th there was 9. So there's just a ton of days of really slow sales. Right now, it's at a low point of 209. It's dropped quite a bit. I'm not quite back to 200, but it hasn't been like around 209 since like the 18th. So it just dropped back, um, and it's just looking pretty so-so right now. Obsidian is just more kind of stagnant. So Obsidian, because of its popularity, it does tend to like be higher in other boxes and kind of be a little volatile. Sales have been also around like 2 to 3, and right now it's stuck at 237/238, and it could go to like 240. There's not like a ton of boxes. This kind of happens with Obsidian. It kind of stays around the same point. Some people put sales up, some people sell them, and we're kind of at that point. You see, like you're just seeing some small amounts, 1 box here, 3 box here at these lower prices. So Paradox has some pretty cheap boxes right now. At 204, 204 is like probably the cheapest booster box you can literally get a TCG player right now. And yeah, I think it's just one seller if I remember correctly. Yeah, this Rip Pack Ship is just selling the cheap one, and it does go back to at 210 pretty quickly. But yeah, Paradox has been hovering around like 210 to 15, maybe 208 to 215. So it's just a pretty abnormally cheap box. Unlike the other two, it actually had some higher than 3 box sales. It had a couple of days of like 5 6. So there's been some interest in Paradox just for like people think it's safe. Like Paradox has been reprinted so much. Like I don't think anyone wants them to print more Paradox booster boxes. Like it's kind of an iffy set. People are always like iffy if they should even open it. So yeah, I think they're done with getting more paradox unless they actually have more paradox. I don't think it's gonna be reprinted. Um, at least in booster box format. So Temporal Forces is at 220. Temporal Forces has been an interesting one because people have generally considered it to be better than like a lot of the other um, I guess weaker sets, so SB base, Paradox, and maybe Stellar. And so it's been holding 220 pretty well, even though it's struggled quite a bit in the past. I remember it struggled to break 200 for a while. And so it's been holding at 220 for a while, which is pretty good. I remember someone saying that Temporal was the first set that they started to decrease print runs for, because that's when Pokemon was like really not as popular. And so there's a lot more SV based to Paradox, and then Temporal they started tapering print runs, which also probably contributed to some of the bowl runs. But yeah, a lot of days it's just been selling like MS3, and yeah, right now it's doing pretty well honestly. Like 220 is like a really good price for it. There's only 3 boxes there. It goes like 225 periodically, so people do seem to. I think it's like a supply and demand issue, and people do like Temporal enough. Twilight is the box that I want. I'm waiting for it to go up. It's just been pretty stagnant. Um, there's been a couple of days of like 4 to 7 boxes sold, maybe 6 or 7 boxes sold, but other days are pretty slow. And it's just had a lot of resistance because multi monster deals had like a bunch of boxes that was resisting it, and some people decided to put up sales. Um, the match has been a little too low recently for it to go up. Ever since it went back up to 245, the man's only been 1 to 2 boxes a day, and there really aren't a ton of boxes in, like in between. But I guess people want to park their money in other places. I guess at this price point, you get like Destined Rivals for around the same price. I'm sure a lot of people would rather open Destined Rivals than a Twilight Masquerade. So Paldea Evolved makes more sense to open as far as or to get as far as an investment. But I think people would rather open Surging Sparks and Destined Rivals right now than Twilight Masquerade. So it just has competition right now. All right, so Stellar Crown remains the same price as yesterday. Just it's been Stellar Crown was doing okay in sales, selling about 4 per day, sometimes even 7. But it's been really slow ever since the 27th. So ever since then, like hasn't been as many sales. So it's been stuck just below 220. And then Surging Sparks, it rose back up about $6 to 220, a healthier 220. I do see some boxes go up to about 220 or 230, which are healthier prices. Um, Maybe Surging Sparks will recover. It was just looking like pretty bad because this having so many boxes sold and being the same price was just like a little iffy. I know Destined Rivals also came out, so attention's going there. But I think long term people do like opening Surging Sparks. They like opening Surging Sparks, they like opening Paldea Evolved to some extent. They like opening all these boxes, ones that they like opening the most to different degrees. Paldea, Obsidian, Twilight, Stellar, and Surging are the ones people generally want to open. But yeah, that's where Surging Sparks is at the moment. And then for the Sword and Shield boxes, the biggest difference is Darkness Ablaze dropped about $8, and then Silver Tempest dropped about $10. So let's start with there. Water Skies dropped by $1. So Silver Tempest just had slower sales lately. You see, like out of the last 3 days, there's only 1 box sold. Like, so that's not really a lot. And right now, Mint Cardboard has these 3 boxes for about 335, and it goes back to 350. Um, Sword and Shield base, interestingly enough, I sold 2 boxes, so the um, the the price is still the same, but 2 of the 500 boxes are sold, which is interesting. Someone's willing to buy at that price. Wondering about that. Like technically, if you really wanted to make it look like Sword and Shield base is going up, you could just buy these 2 boxes, and then it would go to 600. It would probably drop back down, but I don't know. I guess someone just decides to want to buy at that price. Honestly, at $500, I'd rather get like something else. Like one of the what did I get? Like maybe a Chilling Rain, maybe a Burning Stars, maybe a Lost Origin. Yeah, actually, Lost Origin would probably be more comfortable buying than Sword and Shield base. But yeah, to each their own. Rebel Clash, there's no change. Darkness Ablaze, if the price went down think someone just probably added another listing. This Good Doc has 1 box over there. The Voltage had one sale yesterday, still around the same price. Battle Styles had 1 box, 2 boxes yesterday, still around the same price. Chilling Rain sold 1 box. It's still around this 430 price, and there's now 5 boxes. SoCal TCG just up 4 boxes, which is quite a bit. A resistance. Bombing Skies, I think 1 box sold for a pretty high price. At this 968. I'm never really sure. 1968. I'm not really sure why people buy at these high prices. Someone bought that today, even though there's other boxes for like 1915. Also, the seller over here, I think they keep lowering their price by like $1 because I keep noticing the price. There's just this really awkward price to calculate at least, and yeah, I think they just keep lowering by $1. See what happens. I think they want to get rid of the box, but they don't want to give up too much profit. Fusion Strike sold no box yesterday, and yeah, there's just a couple. There's these SoCal TCG appears again and put these 3 boxes there. Otherwise, it'll go back up to like 785. Brilliant Stars actually had 0 boxes sold, not just because of the graph I counted up, like no boxes were sold. Yeah, still stuck around this 430 mark. Astral Radiance had 0 boxes sold after selling 3 boxes, after selling a box a day for 3 days straight. But yeah, there's a bunch of like 3 boxes here for 385. And then Lost Origin sold 0 box yesterday. So just a lot less activity. As I said before, Destined Rivals is going to take over some of the hype right now as people look away, but the money will eventually return over here. All right, that's it for today's video. Thanks, guys. Bye.